What's up, guys? This is Dylan coming with another Link Joker deck profile today. Link Joker's my clan, so you're probably going to see a lot of these. Today we're going to be focusing on Glendios, my second favorite Link Joker card. Loved this deck. Probably played this deck for 8 months, maybe a year, probably. Really love this deck. It was really fun back when it released. The only pain was Liberators at the time. They did kind of get a little annoying, but on the plus side, we had Rubidium, so it was all a-okay. Really great deck. I hope that it gets revival soon. I know we have Omega Glendios, but honestly, he is not the invader that we were looking for. I kind of felt like he was a letdown. If you had the wrong reverse setup or you didn't have Magnet Hollows on the field, you could only attack with your Vanguard, and that was it. Which, I mean, your opponent had to suffer the same fate, but it was just kind of annoying. I mean, it's a really great card. It really makes the deck amazing, but it just, I don't know, it lacks something to me. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start up on the deck profile. First off, for our starter, we have Star-Vader Worldline Dragon. Won't want to run any other starter than this. His ability is, from the soul, choose a card with rear guard in its name from your hand and discard it. At the beginning of your ride phase, if you have a Link Joker Vanguard and your opponent is not grade 3 or greater, you can pay the cost. If you do, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Search for up to 1 Link Joker, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Instantly gives you lock fodder that you need to be able to lock your opponent's field down and be awesome with the deck. Really great card. Definitely have to run this card to make Link Joker, or to make Glendios work. Next, we just run 4 crit, 4 heal, and 4 draw. I did throw in the new crit. I think it works really well with this deck. I mean, honestly, it works in any Star-Vader deck. It's just a really good card. I definitely would recommend running this. Next up, we have 2 Carved Seal Star-Vader Praesiodimium. Really great card. A lot of people try to run this at more than 2, but I think it's perfectly fine at 2. It's the unflip for Link Joker. When he's placed on the rear guard circle, for each different reverse you have in the field, you get to unflip a card. Really great, but honestly, I don't see you needing more than 2 of this. Next up, we run Flowering Boom in the Vacuum Cosmolis. Only non-Star-Vader in the deck, but it's perfectly okay. Actually, the big reason that we run this is the same reason that we used to run Refusing to Lead Your Evil. It did not require you to ditch a Link Joker card to be able to use it. You just choose any card from your hand to discard. So you could easily use any grade 3s that are taking up space where you just don't really need like 12 grade 3s in your hand at the time, which you'd have every grade 3 in the deck in your hand. But you know what I mean. Unflip if there's another copy of it in the drop zone. Just a really solid card for the deck. I mean, you could use Evil if you want, but I mean, why not just have the one that lets you unflip damage? Next, we run the other perfect card in the deck, Forbidden Star-Vader Rubidium. Really amazing card. This made Glendios as good as it is. I honestly do believe that without this card, Glendios might not have gotten the high standings that it did. It made Glendios a pure defense deck and just all around the best control deck of its time. Its ability is retire this unit. Whenever it's placed in Guardian Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Glendios in the name, you get to redirect the attack to one of your reverse units on the field. Super amazing. You can take your opponent's giant wombo, big 5 million crit stride attacking Vanguard and just say, all right, you're going to kill my rear guard and I'm not going to take any damage at all. Haha. Really great card. Definitely want to run this at 4, no less than 4 in my opinion. I feel like this is a staple playset in this deck. Next up, we run Star-Vader Room Magician, another fantastic grade 1. Really, the grade 1s in this deck are very solid. I cannot foresee a reason to run any other grade 1s unless we just get something that's just blows these out of the water, which I highly doubt we'll get. Its ability is Counterblast 1. When it's placed on rear guard, you basically get to take as many reverse units as you want from the drop zone for each reverse unit that you have on the field. So you have, but it's different reverse units. So if you have 3 different reverse units on the field, you throw this beautiful lady down, you counterblast 1, you get to take 3 reverse units from the drop zone and throw them in your hand. So you have instant lock fodder, instant infinite loop fodder, Omega lock fodder. Really great card. Definitely run it 4. Also gives you great stride fodder. Next up, this is the weird part of the deck. You only run about 7 grade 2s. Some people run more, some people run less. Some people don't run this lineup for grade 2s, but I think this is the best. To start off with, we have 4 Star-Vader Magnet Hollow. His skill is whenever he attacks and it hits, you counterblast 1 and you get to search your entire deck for a reverse unit and put it into your name. And put it to your hand. Really solid card, great for early game. There were a lot of games where just in the beginning, if I took a decent amount of damage, I would just throw 3 of them down, ride 1, throw the other 2 in the rear guard, and my opponent's probably going to take at least 1, so I'd get a reverse unit in hand. Really, really great card. Definitely run it for. The next card we're going to be using is Star-Vader Colony Maker. Staple card in the deck. Lets you search for any grade 1 in the deck if your opponent has a locked card on the field. So you get to get your Unflipper or Room Magician, whatever you need. Ability is Counterblast 1 when it's placed on Rearguard Circle. If you have a Link Joker Vanguard and your opponent has a locked card, pay the cost. If you do, search for a grade 1 or less Star-Vader and throw it onto the Rearguard Circle. Then shuffle your deck. Really fantastic card. Definitely run it 3. If you really want to, you could probably run this at 4, run this at 3, but I really wouldn't do it. What some people have been doing is either making more room for grade 2s to throw in Photon, but I just don't really think he's that needed in the deck, especially with the new crit that already basically does that same thing. Next, we run 3 Star-Vader Omega Glendios. For those of you who don't know his ability, it is fantastic. He has a Limit Break 5 ability that says at the beginning of your main phase, if the number of opponents' locked cards is 5 or more, you win the game. Wow. Great. Super fantastic card. Limit Break 4 ability is Counterblast 1, take a reverse card from your hand and ditch it, and you Omega Lock your opponent's current locked cards. Then, when a reverse unit is placed in the field, you get to lock one of your cards, or lock one of your opponent's cards. And all of your reverse units on the field are also Link Jokers and gain plus 4,000 power. Super fantastic card. Next, you're on the backup guy. Star-Vader Reverse Cradle. Limit Break 4. He's a worse Glendios, really. He's just kind of a backup in case you can't hit Glendios. And he's just another reverse unit that's actually a Link Joker, so you can use him on loop turns. Limit Break 4, when a reverse unit and its card name is placed on your rearguard circle, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, lock it. This unit gets plus 1,000 power. This ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn. Then, all of your rearguards with the reverse unit's name are Link Joker. And it also has Lord. So he's very subpar, but he's needed in the deck. I forgot to put in my strides, so I'll do that now. But basically, you're running just 1 Judgment Messiah, which is the standard on hit. Whenever it hits, you get to lock one of your opponent's back row rear guards. Easy card, very good. I don't know why I clicked Exelix. Next, you run 1 Amnesty Messiah. Really good for matchups against other Link Joker decks. Otherwise, you might not really use him. I can see certain games where your opponent's field is super duper locked, and you know they don't have a lot of guards, so you throw this guy down and you pretty much push for game. His ability is Counterblast 1. When he attacks, unlock any number of cards. You get plus 3,000 for each unlocked card, and if it's 3 or more, you gain a crit. Next, we're going to run 2 Big Crunch Dragon, another Omega Locker in the deck, and a very good card. His ability is Counterblast 1. Choose a copy of himself and turn it face up. If the number of your card's G-Zone is face up is 2 or more, lock all of your opponent's rear guard and the column of your choosing, and those units cannot be unlocked at the end of your opponent's turn. So another Omega Lock ability for 1 Counterblast. Super good if you ask me. Next, you're on the MVP of the deck. Well, not really, but he's the main stride for the deck. Death Star-Vader Omega Loop Glendios. His ability is Counterblast 1. Choose a face-down card named Star-Vader Death Omega. Well, just choose a copy of himself. If you have a card name, and if you have a card in your heart with Glendios in its name, your opponent chooses one of his rear guards, his or her rear guards for each of your rear guards with verse in its name. Put the top card of his or her deck face down onto the rear guard circle locked. Then, if the number of cards in your damage zone is 5 or more, all of your opponent's lock cards cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. So it's an Omega Lock, and it's a very good Omega Lock. The only downside is that if you do happen to throw down reverse units that are not Cradle, he does not keep the skill of Glendios, so you cannot attack with them. So you might have 1 or 2 turns where you're only going to be attacking with the Vanguard, but it's okay because your opponent's been having to do it the entire game, right? So why not share the feels for a minute? Really fantastic card. I really love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks to play around with. Oh, also forgot to mention, you run 6 non-Link Joker cards. They are the reverse units. They are what fuel the deck. You can choose whatever you want, but it is very wise to pick 1 of each and not have duplicates. The only duplicate reverse you will have is Cradle. But yeah, that's my deck profile, guys. Pretty please let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know if you think this guy will ever get revived, because I really hope he does. I know we got Loop, but I hope we get something else for him. Bye, guys.